G'day traders, a short review of the gold trade today in the London session. So lots of questions regarding that trade. Again, I'm just going to come back to some really simple concepts. We're inside of the US session high and low of the day. This is the high of the day. This is the low of the day when I begin the day. We had a breakdown in the US session. So I'm going to just come back to really simple concept again. 100 pip box when the day starts. We're in the 100 pip box when the day starts. Thesis could be that that is the peak formation now for the day, above the high of the 100 pip box in the US session, and the market breaks down into the lower 100 pip box in the Asian session. So now my thesis is we're breaking down is that, well, this could be a 50 pip stop hunt peak formation. We had a peak formation above the 100 pip box. If they're going to lock this in, we could have a 50 pip peak formation below the box. The reversal continuation happened at 50 last night, so they came down after the news. 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes. New York opens up inside of 75 and double zeros and goes vertical back up into the 100 pip box. We break down today and put a low of the day in Asia in place, except that during the gap time we had 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes, and a breakdown 25 pips above the range, above the double zero box. That is a false break area for me. False break is 25 to 50 pips outside of the 100 pip box. It breaks down just prior to heading into our London 12 candle window. Now, I've had people ask, why is my box 1 hour earlier? I just extended it an hour. That is not when I'm at the screen. I'm coming for that middle hour at 9. That's 2 a.m. New York time, 1 hour before the equity market open. I'm always looking to trade the equity market hour as my entry unless there is an entry prior. Now, we're in the 100 pip box. When we're between 50 and double zeros, that's the upper part of the box. If they make peak formations back up and the high of the day is locked in and this is the low of the day, I want to be selling in the upper quarter of the box, on the upper level, if this is going to collapse down to the lower part of the 100 pip box. If I'm in the lower part of the 100 pip box, such as we see here this morning on the pound yen, so we see again, think drop, 3 levels of drop. They're dropping this. They put a high in last night in the US session. So when the day starts, this is the pound yen. When the day starts, that's the high of the day, that's the low of the day, because that's where the US traded last and we're in the inside. They dropped it down 1 level, 2 levels, 3 levels before reversing, making our W in our Asian session at the quarter level in the bottom of the 100 pip box. So again, if they're going to go up, they're going to coil it and start the rise up at the bottom of the box, back up to the top of the box. If the high is locked in gold, my thesis is that I'm going to be selling high for the breakdown to the low of the day. They break out. It's a trend trade. This is a downtrend now. They're making new lows, pulling back. They lock the high in 25 pips above the box. The high is locked in. It breaks down. Peak formation high. Back up into the high with a micro M and an engulfment candle. I'm in the market. It's as simple as that. This little pin hammer. I put my stop above the high. It breaks down. So we have the low of Asia. We have the low of our box now. It breaks down. We're making new lows. I want to see this break down. We haven't even gotten to the London Open yet. But it's breaking down. So I'm not going to counter trend this. It's breaking down. It's breaking down. London opens after it pulls back to 50 and starts falling. London accelerates the move and blows off back into the long trade from last night's US session. I always keep reminding myself is who has the most to be disappointed about. It's who's ever in the money. Maybe they're going to come back later and get the shorts from the Europe session. I don't know, maybe it'll collapse and roll over. As of right now, though, I see no indication of this reversing. Could this be a squeeze? We're 50 pips below the double zeros, so they could at some point put a peak formation low in and make a squeeze to come back up vertical. At this stage, coming back to the quarters, if I'm going to be selling, I'm going to sell up high for a move down. If I'm going to be buying, I want to be buying at the bottom of the 100 pip box for a move up. They break into the new box, coil it, and continue to move in the long direction prior to the London Open. We get some volatility between 50 and the breakout of the previous day's high before they resume the uptrend. We are now potentially locking in a high above double zeros. Does that mean that that's a short trade? No, but it may be an area that the U.S. market retests. In the U.S. window, we have news tonight, but they could retest that high for a possible move back down. I don't know. I can only base things on what happens within the trend at the timings. This is a simple setup that shows up over and over again. I don't want to counter trend that, but I'm certainly willing to participate in a short trade because gold will drop and collapse as it did. This is easy money. I don't want to try and fight the market. I don't want to make things complicated. I'm looking for the easy trades. So again, I'm working on numbers and timing and the pattern of the price action. They went up. Here was the first target. That's where the first target is, right there. They come back down and bring it back up above 75. That's the selling area. It collapses down through the money. They get people counter trending that maybe. I don't know. There's a new low of the day. They auction it back up above 50. Bang, they hit them again and it collapses through and they're going after possibly the money from last night's longs after the news that we're buying at the bottom of the 100 pip box. So it's as simple as I try to make it. I literally try to make my trading dummy proof. I'm just looking for these types of trades. I don't want to try and trade all this stuff, and sometimes this can be a fade. Fades are difficult to trade. This is difficult to trade after the news. Once they lock in a level and they get a coil, this isn't so bad. But, this pattern is, I am biased to short trading. I trade shorts over and over again. I'm not going to fight the trend. It's a simple, low-hanging fruit. I'm just taking the trade, putting my stop in place, adding positions, getting my stop in place. When it goes vertical and we head down to 50, I'm taking the money. I'm locking it in. That's a really good session. I'm happy with that. Come back later, see if there's something that's set up to move just as easy. Hopefully that explains things. Keep it simple, traders. Round numbers, timing, high and low. Remember, when they make highs in the beginning of a session, or they make lows, these now become the low of the session and of the day for that session until they get broken. So, again, going to the screen, having a thesis, keeping it simple, executing the trade, knowing that the equity hour especially will accelerate the momentum of that move. Lock it in. Get off the screen. Keep it simple, traders. Have a great session, and may the markets go with you.